$27,000. That is the cost to fly an F-16 for one single hour. For decades, Air Forces paid this bill because they had no choice. If you wanted air power, you paid the American tax. But that era just ended. A tiny $20 million Italian jet has entered the chat. Critics call it a toy because it has no afterburner. But this toy just stole the market from the F-16 by doing the one thing the Americans forgot how to do: save money. To really get the scale of this disruption, you have to appreciate the Titan being challenged. The F-16 Fighting Falcon isn't just a successful jet, it's a dynasty. It's the most common combat aircraft in the world, with thousands built and exported to over 24 countries, flying in nearly every major conflict of the modern era. The F-16 was a game changer, a relatively lightweight single-engine fighter that could outmaneuver almost anything, yet still haul a serious bomb load, the perfect blend of performance and versatility, and it never stopped getting better. The latest version, the F-16 Block 7072, or Viper, is a beast. It's got an advanced AESA radar, the same core tech found in the F-35, modernized everything, and a structure built to last for thousands more flight hours. It is every bit a 4.5 generation fighter, but that peak performance comes with a peak price. Buying a new squadron of Vipers is a massive financial commitment. A single brand new F-16V has a flyaway cost of around $65 million. But that's just the start. Full packages with weapons, training, and support can push the per-jet price well over $100 million. And then there's the real cost, the one that keeps defense ministers up at night, the cost to actually fly it. The cost per flight hour, or CPFH, for an F-16 is estimated to be as high as $27,000. Every single hour it's in the air, from routine patrols to training, burns a hole in a defense budget the size of a new luxury car. For decades, Air Forces just paid the bill. What other choice was there? To be a credible air power, you needed a jet like the F-16. But what if the very thing that makes the F-16 a legend is also its greatest weakness in the modern market? What if that incredible combat-proven performance is, for most countries, most of the time, just total overkill? Let's be honest about what the average Air Force does day to day. They aren't dogfighting in contested airspace or dodging sophisticated air defenses. The vast majority of their flight hours are spent on much more mundane, but still critical tasks. They're flying air policing missions to check on an unresponsive airliner. They're running border patrols, looking for smugglers. They're providing close air support for troops against insurgents who have no air force. They're intercepting slow-moving propeller planes or drones. Do you really need a Mach 2 9G fighter that costs a fortune an hour to do those jobs? Is it smart to use a thoroughbred racehorse to pull a plow? Increasingly, the answer is a hard no. For many nations, the F-16 is a sledgehammer to crack a nut. The capability is awesome, but the cost is just as awesome, and it's being spent on missions that simply don't require that level of power. This mismatch, this overkill problem, created a huge vulnerability in the market. It created a gap that a new kind of jet was perfectly designed to fly right through. This is the Leonardo M-346 Master. And at first glance, yeah, you can see why the skeptics called it a toy. It was born as an advanced jet trainer, designed to prepare pilots for the real fighters like the Eurofighter, the F-35, and, yes, the F-16. It was built with a totally different philosophy: make it cheap to buy and cheap to fly. Everything about it is optimized for efficiency. It's powered by two small, reliable Honeywell F-124 turbofan engines, the kind of thing you might find on a business jet. Crucially, they don't have afterburners. That immediately slashes fuel consumption and makes maintenance way simpler and cheaper. It's a transonic aircraft, flying comfortably around the speed of sound and capable of pushing past Mach 1. To its detractors, these are all weaknesses. No afterburner, barely supersonic. It's just a trainer. But they were missing the point entirely. Leonardo wasn't trying to build an F-16 killer. They were building an F-16 market disruptor. And their weapon wasn't speed, it was the price tag. While a new F-16 package can run you over $100 million jet, the estimated flyaway cost of an M-346 is in the neighborhood of just $20 to $25 million. It's a staggering difference. But even that isn't the real secret sauce. The true kill shot is what it costs to operate. This is where the story turns from cool engineering to cold, hard math. This is where the toy jet cripples the old way of doing business. Remember the F-16's eye-watering cost per flight hour? Up to $27,000. Leonardo and defense analysts claim the M-346 in its Armed Fighter Attack, or FA version, can have an operating cost in the range of just $4,000 to $5,000 an hour. Let that sink in. For the same money, an Air Force can fly a single 1-hour sortie in an F-16, or it can fly 5 sorties in the M-346FA. This isn't just a small advantage, it's a paradigm-shifting economic bomb. It means while the enemy F-16 is sitting on the runway because they burned their monthly fuel budget in 2 days, your swarm of M-346s is in the air, hunting them down. The F-16 isn't losing to a better plane, it's losing to a plane that can actually afford to show up to the fight. It's the modern version of the old military saying, quantity has a quality all its own. For a mid-sized nation looking at its budget, the choice is becoming stark. Do they buy a handful of amazing F-16s they can barely afford to fly, saving them for a doomsday that might never happen? Or do they buy a larger fleet of M-346FAs that can handle 90% of their daily missions, while keeping their pilots sharp and their skies monitored? As more and more countries are showing, the economic case is just too powerful to ignore. Okay, so it's cheaper, but can it actually fight? This is where the whole toy jet story completely falls apart. The M-346FA isn't a trainer with guns taped to the wings. It's a surprisingly lethal light combat aircraft. The change from trainer to fighter starts in the nose. The FA variant is equipped with Leonardo's own Griffo M-346 multi-mode fire control radar, a proper mechanical scan combat radar for air-to-air and air-to-surface targeting. And Leonardo is already developing future upgrades that will incorporate ASA radar technology. It also has a modern data link, letting it share data with other NATO and allied forces. In the cockpit, the pilot has a helmet-mounted display, letting them aim weapons just by looking at a target. Combine that with modern heat-seeking missiles like the IRIS-T or AIM-9X Sidewinder, and the M-346FA becomes a very dangerous opponent in a close-range fight. Any pilot in an older, heavier fighter who dismisses the little trainer could be in for a very nasty surprise. And its arsenal is no joke. The M-346FA has 7 hardpoints and can carry up to 3,000 km of stores. This includes advanced air-to-air missiles, a whole suite of precision-guided bombs, targeting pods, and even gun pods. It can do close air support, armed reconnaissance, and homeland air defense. It doesn't have the brute force of an F-16, but in the right role, it's a precision killer. This isn't just a theory, the market is proving it right now. Take Nigeria, for instance. In a landmark deal valued at around 1.2 billion euros, Nigeria is acquiring 24 M-346FA jets. They're not buying them to replace high-end fighters, but to perform a huge range of missions more economically, from advanced pilot training to close air support and air interdiction against insurgent groups. It's the perfect example of the high-low strategy in action. And they aren't alone. Turkmenistan was the launch customer for the M-346FA. Other nations are flocking to similar light combat aircraft from places like South Korea. Each sale of a light fighter for these roles is a sale that a more expensive, high-end fighter like the F-16 might have once been considered for, but lost out, not on performance, but on price. Meanwhile, the F-16 is still selling strong to nations needing top-tier 4.5 Gen capability. With a production backlog of over 100 jets for countries like Bulgaria, Slovakia, and Taiwan, the market hasn't died, it's split. This trend is only going to accelerate, thanks to what you could call the F-35 gap. As the US and its top allies shift to the F-35, the cost of air power takes another huge leap. The F-35A's cost per flight hour is estimated to be north of $33,000, making even the F-16 look cheap. Air forces buying the F-35 will be even more desperate for a low-cost partner to handle the daily grind and build up flight hours. The M-346 and its competitors are the perfect solution. slotting neatly into the massive financial and operational gap below the fifth-generation jets. The market for a single, one-size-fits-all fighter is shrinking. The future is a high-low mix, and by largely ignoring the light attack space, American manufacturers have left the door wide open for companies like Italy's Leonardo to dominate this growing and very lucrative niche. But there is one final secret Leonardo isn't advertising loudly, and this is the feature that could truly end the F-16's dominance for good. The future of air combat isn't just about manned fighters, it's about loyal wingmen, AI-powered drones. The US Air Force plans to control these drones with its next generation's fighters, or the F-35. But think about the economics again. Do you really want a multi-million-dollar stealth fighter, one of the most advanced and expensive machines ever built, acting as a simple Wi-Fi router for a swarm of cheap drones? It's a massive waste of a high-end stealth airframe. This is where the M-346FA plays its ace. Leonardo is quietly positioning this jet as the perfect drone mothership. Because it has two seats, the pilot in the front can focus on flying the plane. The Weapons Systems Officer, or WSO, in the back seat can manage an entire swarm of autonomous drones like the Valkyrie or Ghost Bat. The M-346 was born to teach pilots how to manage information overload, making it the ideal platform for this kind of command and control. Here is the terrifying reality for the old guard. The F-16 is a single-seat relic of the 1970s. Its pilot is already overwhelmed with the task of flying the jet and fighting. They cannot effectively manage a complex swarm of AI wingmen. So, in 2030, you won't just see a swarm of M-346s, you will see one M-346 controlling 10 AI drones. Suddenly, this $20 million toy isn't just a light fighter. It is a flying aircraft carrier, and it just made the single-seat fighter obsolete. In the end, the Leonardo M-346FA isn't out dogfighting the F-16. It's outmaneuvering it on the balance sheet and future-proofing itself for the next generation of warfare. It proves that in the 21st century, the most powerful weapon isn't just a faster engine or a stealthier airframe, it's a lower cost per flight hour and the ability to adapt. First, its ruthless economics created a market for a fighter that could handle 90% of the missions for 20% of the cost. Now, its two-seat design gives it a clear path to becoming a command center for the AI-driven future of air combat. Simple economics, applied with ruthless efficiency, is reshaping the global fighter market, proving that sometimes the biggest threat is the one you dismissed as just a toy. So, what do you think? Is the era of the expensive do-it-all fighter coming to an end? Is a high-low mix, commanded by jets like the M-346, the only smart path for modern air forces? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown of defense economics and hardware, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.